Hey, hey, hey. I have not been on YouTube in like a year and a half. So crazy. I wanted to make like a little live while I have the time to do so. And yeah, just give you guys like a little update on what I've been doing for the past, what, 2 years. Um, I was like, at my channel, periodically here and there, and saw that a lot of my posts, were like when I was literally in the throes of my divorce process. And just to give like a brief backtrack, I got divorced. My divorce was finalized February of 2022, February 7th, actually, of 2022. And I was literally like in survival mode. you know, I was literally in survival mode because, I was a housewife. As you can see from my 300 plus videos on here, I was a housewife for a long time. And when I caught my ex-husband being unfaithful, that was just a pill that I could not swallow. And you know, thinking back on it, you know, sometimes you have to rip the band-aid off. A lot of times we as women, we forgive and we overlook bad behaviors in our marriage, and we tolerate behavior that he himself would not tolerate. And so why would I tolerate that kind of behavior? And I think uh, the most shocking thing about this whole divorce was the way that people who I thought, who I thought liked and loved me, how people literally like turn on you. You live like this life, this married life with family and friends and different things. And as soon as the relationship goes awry, people literally just they disappear, and you have to pick up the pieces and you kind of have to do what you have to do on your own. And it taught me so much about the word friend and the word family, and how not to give out those titles to people who don't show up for you in your most vulnerable moments. And I think it's a lesson to all of us that, you know, friends and family, like those are special titles that are only assigned to people who are there for you during the good, the bad, and the ugly, as well as the happy times. And so, I had a hard time in the beginning because, the divorce, I got divorced fast. Like when I say fast, fast, because I was so angry. I lost my third child. I was pregnant with my third child at the time. I was almost in the second trimester, and that baby died in utero right after I filed for divorce. Like right after I filed for divorce, because I even told my ex-husband, like, listen, my symptoms are fading. If there's something wrong with this baby, I am like done with you forever. That was the most traumatic thing that I had ever. And he was like out the home at this point, but we were still, trying to, come together for certain, because we got two other kids, and I, needed help and stuff like that. And he just showed how horrible he could be. Like, he didn't want to do anything. It's like once they step out on you, and you have decided that you're no longer going to tolerate it, and you take a stand, it's like they just become angry that you don't want to be bothered. And so that was the case with him. And so I kind of, and he was still, his phone was ringing off the hook like he was, a celebrity or something. I mean, phone never rang in 10 years, but Once he got on the internet, because he was never really on the computer like that, never really on social media and everything. And once he decided he wanted to look for some kind of excitement, because that's what he said, he was looking for excitement. He um he got hooked up on the internet, got onto these dating sites. He was on 4 dating sites, and he just lost his damn mind. He just lost his mind, and just talking to women from all different, like, walks of life, races. I mean, had women in out of state, trying to fly him in and all kind of crazy stuff. Like, the things that I found in his email was just like, I couldn't even understand. Like, are you living a lie, or are you living a lie? You know? And so when I filed for divorce, I filed something called indigent, because at the time I was not working. I had just had a miscarriage. I actually still had on my hospital bracelet. Still just got released from the hospital. Um, and I was able to file for free, um, I was a housewife, and I was just out of the hospital. Because even the judge was like, "Why are you here? You just went through all this." And I was like, "Listen, I want to get out of this marriage. I want to do what I need to do. I have to suck it up." And then, he disappeared. And so I didn't have a job, of course, because I'd always been a housewife. I didn't have a job. So I was just at home, like I have been for years, taking care of my kids and everything. So I had to figure out what I wanted to do, because I couldn't pay the bills of the house because I was not working. And literally, I didn't even think this through. I was just like, "Oh, so you got a girlfriend that you say you love?" I checked his phone and saw all that. Y'all know the story. Or y'all can go back and watch the nightmare. It's right on my page. And I put him out. And, he was like really adamant about he gonna take care of his kids. And you know how they say all that lies, and then they be gone. As soon as he got a taste of freedom, he was out. And so I let my kids pick out what they wanted to keep, because I couldn't keep everything. I had to put stuff in storage and move in with my parents, which was nightmare number two. And so I did that, and I had to get a job. And so um, the day that I found out that my third baby that I was pregnant with had no heartbeat, I had an interview at Amazon warehouse. I had an appointment to go there because I had applied, and I almost didn't go. I almost didn't go because I was crying so bad, and they couldn't do anything about it. Like, once they tell you that the baby has no heartbeat, they have to schedule the DNC. They have to take the baby out. They have to schedule that. So you're like walking around with a child inside of you that is deceased, and you have to wait for them to give you an appointment so that you can do the DNC. And I didn't want to do the pill at home. I didn't want to deal with that, so I wanted to go to the hospital and do it. And so my mother was the one that was just like, "Nah, just go to the interview." So I had to put some Visine in my eyes, some eye drops in my eyes to take the red out, and I had to collect myself, and I got a job. Amazon warehouse back then, they hired right on the spot. And so I was supposed to work for the major warehouse, but because there was an issue with the building that they had built, they offered us, "Hey, do you want to work, 10, 12-hour shift, 4 days a week? Or do you want to work part time at a fulfillment center," which was a smaller building, "and you only work 4 to 5 hours?" And I was cool with that. I just needed to get my foot in the door and start working. And so that's what I did. I worked from 8 p.m. to 12:30 a.m., sometimes 1:30 a.m. if we were busy. And which was great, because then I would still be able to take care of my kids during the day, and when they went to bed at night, I would be working. And so that's what I did. And I worked that job for a year and a half. And during that time, I was having issues with my mom, um, because she's a very difficult person to be to get along with and be around. And so 30 days, we had 30 days of complete and utter bliss. And one day she just snapped and was just like, you're not special. All men cheat. As long as he's not beating your ass, you need to go back home. Like, she really took offense because of whatever issues that she had with my dad, and she didn't have the strength to leave. I guess she felt a way. Like, how dare you think you could leave your marriage? Like, easy, goodbye. You want to be disrespectful, go away. And so, she would do like crazy stuff, like try to, like, when a person wants you to go leave their house and then they try to make your life a living hell. That's what she was doing. She would like mop the floor and pure bleach. And if you know anything about pure bleach, it's very like choking, like it's very pungent, and she would do like stupid stuff like that. And then she would like be up at 2 or 3. Now I just got off work now, early in the morning, and she would be slamming cabinet doors. She would cook stink shit, like seem like she would be boiling a pot full of like crazy seasonings to kind of like disturb your sleep. I'm a light sleeper, just all kind of crazy shit. And so I the last straw was when she was like, starting to mess with where my kids were sleeping. So I decided, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm going through so much, I'm not going to be mistreated by anybody. And so, literally 3 days before Christmas in 2021, I think like December 22nd or December 23rd, I moved into the Motel 6. And so we stayed at the Motel 6 for a couple days. And then my ex husband's father, he called me, and he was just like seeing how I was doing, because we had just had Viola's birthday party. She had just turned 7 that summer, and they came to the party and everything was fine. And literally a week after Viola's 7th birthday party, I found out that Vern was cheating. And so it happened just that quick. And he didn't know, he was just seeing it. And I told him I'm living in a hotel motel right now because I had to move out. Vern is not doing what he's supposed to be doing. And I told him all the story. And he was just like, you can't live in that hotel. You have to find something better. And so he was just like, go ahead, find something better. I'll help you out until you can find an apartment. So I found an extended stay hotel for me and my kids, my kids and I to stay at. And that's where I moved to. And him and his wife would watch my kids at nighttime, and I would go to work. And did that for a little bit. And once I was able to find an apartment, I had posted something on Facebook, and my cousin saw it, and she was just like, hey, my daughter lives in this building. Come park your car and let's walk up and down this boulevard where this like long strip, one-way street in Miami where it's like full of apartments, and we were just gonna knock on the door and just see what we could find. So her daughter lived in the building that I'm living in now. We talked to the lady. She was like, I got 1 unit left. I have 1 unit left. And so I told Vern's dad, and he helped us out with the money to get the apartment, and I moved in. And I was literally just working, working, working. One thing good about working part time at Amazon is that you can pick up shifts. And so during like holidays and stuff like that, I would be working like 60 hours a week, like crazy stuff. And, I was okay. Once we went to mediation, he showed up for mediation, and I mistakenly did not take the alimony which was offered to me, because he was whining and crying in mediation about how he couldn't afford it. And I personally did not want to prolong the divorce proceedings by fighting over alimony. So I was just like, no, I'll just take child support, and that is it. So once we settled mediation, we got our final uh our final judgment for divorce was like in January. Something happened, and the judge had to reschedule, so it was just rescheduled for February. And once the divorce was finalized, Vern just like, he ain't paying child support. He wasn't paying, and his mother had told him um don't give Shantika any money if she doesn't let you see those kids. Like that's what she told him. Like never had a crossword with this lady, always been nice and accommodating, been very nice to this woman. And she was just so horrible to me. It was ridiculous. And so I was just like, really? That's what you're doing? And so after the divorce, I literally just blocked everybody because I know my ex-husband has like some messy family members, and I wasn't going to fight with anybody online. I wasn't going to even address anything online because you didn't live in my house. And most of you people, almost, well, all of you people did not, weren't around for the years that we were married. So why would you even have an opinion? You don't know what's going on in my household. You don't know. Just like I don't know what's going on in your household to take a side. And so I blocked everybody, and we started the fight to get child support. He quit his job, and I mean, this is a completely different person. Like the person that you see in my videos, the person who I thought I was married to, he became somebody that I just did not recognize. He was all gung ho about taking care of his kids, and once the relationship was over, I felt like the kids became collateral damage, and he just did not want to support them. He didn't want to do his part. And so I had to call like a community uh, social services place to get Valerian, who was 3 at the time, in some kind of a free daycare because I didn't have the money to put her in daycare. Y'all know how much expensive daycare was. And then she was struggling with potty training on top of that too. So I needed somewhere where she could wear a pull up and they would help her out with potty training. And so I was able, because of my homeless status and my homeless situation, at the time, this was before I got my apartment, I was able to get her into this community daycare. And so and then of course Viola was in school and different things like that. So she was like first second grade, something like that. And so I was good when it came to childcare for them to go to school. And so it took like 9 months because the first thing somebody, because I've never been in a child support situation, so I didn't know how to get child support. And so the first thing I did was I went to the court and I filed for child support enforcement. They didn't do anything. And then somebody told me that I had to file a case with the Department of Revenue. And so I went to the Department of Revenue. Those are the people that will go after a person for child support. They will have your license suspended. They will put you in jail. That is who you need to go to. And so that's what I did. Filed a case. Nothing still didn't happen because he wasn't responding to any, correspondences. He was living here, there, and everywhere. He was never in one spot to get any mail. And so it was like a 9 month fight to like find him and get, this is crazy, right? If you like, this is ridiculous that I'm telling you this. Like, this is so ridiculous how things just literally change in a flash. And so we were scheduled to go to court in October of 2022, and the Department of Revenue's lawyers were there. He didn't show up to court, and even the judge was kind of like on his side a little bit, like, "Oh, Miss Roper, he can't pay you child support if he's locked up." And I said, "I get it. I just want him to do his part. Like I'm here working. Like at least you could do is help out." And so he was slapped with a purge payment. He had to pay a certain amount of money in 30 days, or he would have to pay the whole, because they count child support based on the day that you left the marital home. So he was gone September 3rd of 2021. And so 2021 to October 20, he owed like $5,000, some shit like that, for 2 kids, because the George ordered like $492 plus an extra $200 on top of that for the arrears. And he would have been caught up with his arrears and everything if he would have just paid it. But because to spite me, he just decided he was not going to do anything. And so once the law caught up with him, he ended up with a warrant for his arrest, which he still has, which is still active. He still has a warrant for his arrest for child support, and so for non-payment of child support. And so I decided, because I had, I was only working part-time, and whenever I could pick up shifts, I could. But working at Amazon is very, very hard, honey. Amazon is like, it's very rough on your body, like standing for that many hours, lifting heavy boxes. I was doing a lot, so I was looking for a second job, and so I saw that there was this company that outsources substitute teachers. So I said, okay, that sounds like a cool thing. Let me just go and see what I could do, because I wasn't doing anything during the day. And so I said, and I didn't have to be at work at Amazon until 8:30 at night. And so I was just like, I could totally work a part-time job in the daytime. And so I applied, did my background checks, my fingerprints and everything, and I became a substitute teacher. I became a substitute teacher. And I was just going all over Broward County, just to different schools in the area, and just to see what I liked. And a lot of oh, hi Sunny. And so I was a substitute teacher for a while, and I was scared to become like a permanent employee with the school system, because you know how teaching is like a predominantly female environment, and I had been through so much. I didn't want to really deal. Now you know how ladies can be, and so I didn't really want to like be a full-time employee with the school board. 'Cause I wanted to be able to bounce around. If there was a school that I did not like, if the people were nasty and mean, I could just go on ahead and transition to somewhere else. And so I started uh, working at this one school that I really, really liked. And I just kept coming every day. And most substitutes, they don't really come all the time. I was going there every day like I was just a regular staff teacher. And so the office manager was like, well, why don't you just apply to be like a paraprofessional? And so that's what I did. I applied. They pushed my paperwork, because, the school board, it takes forever to get hired. And so they pushed my paperwork. I became a paraprofessional, and I was working primarily with the autistic in the ESC program, with the autistic spectrum children. And a lot of them were nonverbal, some were super violent. So it was a crazy school year. And so I did that and Amazon at the same time. I worked at Amazon at night, and I worked at the school. That's why I haven't been doing, I've been so busy. And then being a mom on top of that. And then I did not want my kids to be with other people all the time. Since I was working so much, I did not want, and it was starting to affect them. I did not want them to be babysat by other people so much that they never saw me. And so when a position became available, one of the teachers like gave me a heads up. It's like, hey, they're looking for a kindergarten teacher, and they're like, you really should apply. And so I said, okay, well, let me just apply. I applied, and I got hired on the spot, because I had already been at the school for an entire school year already, and so the people already knew me. They knew my credentials. Of course, I have the education to do it, and so last year I got hired as a kindergarten teacher, and so I started teaching kindergarten, and I quit Amazon. And then I felt like I still needed some extra income, and I wanted a job that was a little less strenuous than Amazon. So I started working at Whole Foods. I'm mentioning these places because I no longer work there. Hey, Christine. So I was working at Whole Foods, and I worked there for like 9 or 10 months. And because I was being paid so well as a teacher, I didn't really need the extra income. And then I didn't really want my kids to be babysat so much by other people. So I just decided to let Whole Foods go and just strictly focus on teaching. And if you know anything about teaching, you have to do lots of continuing education courses. You have to do lots and lots of trainings and different things. Like, it never ends with them. And so during this time, my relationship with Vern was like super strained, because he was not visiting the kids. We have a child support order, we have a visitation order, and he just does not he doesn't see them. And at first, I used to be so upset about it and I would fuss at him about it. And he just really didn't care. And then what made matters worse was that he was in a lot of different relationships because Vern is kind of a person that he needs lots and lots of help. He doesn't have a car. Still to this day, he doesn't have a car. He doesn't have his own apartment. He always needs to secure a woman so that he can have access to their car and so that he can have somewhere to live because he has a felony on his record. So it will be difficult for him to get an apartment on his own. I mean, he was living at his mom's grandmother's house, but you can't really have company and do what you want in somebody else's situation. So, you know, he always had a girlfriend from like the first, I guess, the first year of our divorce. He got this girlfriend, and it was such a crazy thing because he, of course, talks about me at length to these people. Because when I spoke to the lady that he was cheating on me with, I saw the text message and I just called her from my phone. I talked to this lady for like 30 minutes and she knew everything about me. She knew like my family, she knew stuff about it. I'm just like, my thing is that if you're out here trying to get to know somebody or you're seeing somebody, why in the hell would you talk about your ex-wife to this degree at this length? Like, who the hell wants to sit and listen to you talk about another woman? I just felt that that was such a strange thing. Like, why would you listen to this? Because she was like, oh, he told me this, he told me that. I'm just like, but why would you sit and listen to this guy do that? And of course, he got to sing his sad story about how he was so neglected and all she cared about was the children, and blaming the kids for, like he was jealous of the kids, like he was jealous of my attention to the children and how I didn't give him compliments, like really stupid shit that made him a oh, poor him. And and so, he was looking for some kind of validation, some kind of attention that he was not seeking, that I was not giving to him, because of course I had two small children that I had to take care of by myself, which he hardly participated in. And so, that was my crime, being a mother. And so yeah, he got this girlfriend, and I never forget it. Because these incidences are few and far between, because I don't tolerate a whole lot of foolishness. I am seriously traumatized by the death of my third baby, traumatized by the whole divorce process and the breakdown of my marriage. Why the hell would I then continue the trauma by fighting with some nobody over a piece of trash I divorced? So Valerian I had taken them to Dave and Buster's, and then I had taken them to TGI Friday um, restaurant to eat, and she started throwing up. She got super sick, and so I took her to the hospital. And so, just as a courtesy, as I had always done before, which I no longer do anymore, I will call him and say, "Hey, Valerian is sick. Just want to let you know." And of course, this lady was like screaming in the background. I don't understand. I was just like, who the hell? And I'm trying to talk, and I'm trying to talk softly because I'm in the ER with Valerian and Viola, and this lady's like yelling and screaming in the background. I was just like, who is yelling in the background? And she, I guess, snatches the phone and was like, this is his woman. And I was just like, okay, bitch, like, I don't care. Like, put him, like, my child is in the hospital. Like, what the hell? And she was just like talking trash, saying that how she was going to take me to court. I won't let him see his kids. Like, that same refrain, these lying men, they don't want to see these kids. Ain't been to one visitation with him, but for some imaginary reason I won't let him see his kids. And she's just repeating all of this nonsense that he has fed into her. And she didn't really have anything to really come at me at. It's just this, oh, we're all about the kids and you won't let him see his kids. And I was just like, ma'am, did he tell you that he has an open warrant for child support? Because if we go into court, I promise you, I'm the only one that will be exiting the courtroom, because I will make sure as soon as he walks into the courtroom, the bailiff will know he has an open warrant for child support. And in the state of Florida, once they lock you up, you get locked up for 6 months, or until you could satisfy that child support payment. So if you, while you're running your mouth, and she's literally calling him, what was so crazy is that she wasn't even calling him by his first name. She was calling him by the user name that he put on his dating profile. This stupid idiot didn't even know his real damn name. But you're yelling at me about taking me to court to take some kids away, and you don't even know this man's government name. Okay. What a dingbat. And so that's why I always tell women, like, don't get involved in these men and their drama, because you will be standing there looking like a fool. So when I told her that he had an open warrant for child support, she immediately was like, what is she talking about? Like, I ain't know all that you had all this going on. Yeah, because you're so busy running your mouth about shit you don't know about. You don't even know you letting this nigga ride your car around, and he has an open warrant. They could tow your car, impound your car, and lock him up. So, and I was just like, run me my 5 grand, since you so gung ho about, him seeing his kids and him loving his kids. Try paying this arrearsment, and helping him out, since you on his team so heavy. Help him out. Run me my 5 grand. And so she was like pissed off because she didn't know any of this was going on. And so I blocked Vern for like 3 months after that, because I was just like, that's disrespectful. You're not going to, I'm calling you in the emergency room about a sick child that belongs to you. And for you to put your flavor of the month on the phone to yell at me is completely disrespectful. I've tolerated enough. We're not talking. It ain't like you doing anything anyway. You don't pay child support and you ain't visiting them. So what's the difference? And so once we started talking back again, he apologized, and I guess that relationship fell by the wayside, because when I called him, it had like, there was like a bunch of wind in the background. I was like, what is all of that noise? And he was like, oh, I'm walking down the street. And I'm like, what are you walking down the street for? Oh, well, I felt like the lady was cheating on me, and I'm walking with my stuff to go back to my grandmother's. And I said, Vern, didn't I tell you not to move in with nobody? Didn't I tell you that? It's like talking to a child. And so he walking down the street with his little baggie and his little grip, going back to wherever he was at originally, because he put his own self out of that lady house because she was going out of town and cheating on his, according to him. Who the hell knows? His drama, his circus, not mine. And so this was have been like a back and forth thing. Like every few months he would meet somebody new, and it would be the same behavior, getting on the phone yelling at me about shit they don't know about, and then they break up, and then I don't hear from Vern. And so my dad was helping me with the visitation. Like he would meet him somewhere, he would drop the kids off, and then he would bring them right back. And so fast forward to I guess this year, fast forward to this year, um me doing my thing, working, taking care of my kids, not really paying him any attention. My kids were talking about some lady, that new lady that he had been dealing with. Now, Vern decided that he wanted a Facebook page. And so I think sometime last year, he got a Facebook page, and he ended up reconnecting with some lady that he had dated years, and like 20 years before he even met me. You know what I'm saying? And he was like posting these crazy pictures. Like it was so ignorant and stupid, like tagging me in pictures of them kissing and all, like doing like really really disrespectful shit. And so I had to block her because she obviously decided that she wanted to tag me and everything. I don't understand. It's like, if you're in a relationship with somebody, why are you so pressed about the ex-wife or the ex-girlfriend or the baby mom or whoever? Why are you so pressed for them to pay attention to you? Like, if you're with this dude, why don't you foster that relationship? Go be with them, leave me alone. Because I personally don't care, because I got my own life and my own stuff going on, because I am dating, I do date. But because of my relationship with him, I have decided that in this single space, number one, I would never bring anybody around my girls. That's just a rule that I have. I will never, never, never. And I'm dating somebody currently, and he's never met my kids because we're not married. What you need to meet him for? You don't need to meet him. You don't need to meet him unless we are on our way to the altar. And my position on marriage is completely changed. I have no desire to live with a man, to be married to a man, because I honestly feel like all men cheat. I believe that all men cheat. I believe all men are, they all try to get away with stuff. I don't want to live with anybody. I don't want nobody in my house. And plus, I have girls, especially one that is literally in the throes of puberty. And so I don't want to bring anybody into my house unless I'm married to them. I don't want to introduce anybody to my kids unless I am about to marry them. Imminent marriage, not engaged indefinitely type shit. And so that was a rule because I don't want my kids to grow up and be like, oh, my mom had a bunch of boyfriends. Oh, my mom was doing this and I don't. That would break my heart, because you hear stuff like that. Oh, my mom's boyfriend used to do this to me and used to mistreat me. No, boyfriend and my mom is not in their vocabulary. Now, Vern has had several different women around him at many different times, and so he reconnected with this lady, and my kids kept talking about her, and I didn't really care, because his life is his life, just like my life is my life. I just want to be careful because a lot of times significant others, they'll mistreat your children because they don't like the mother. She don't have a reason not to like me because she doesn't know anything about me. She doesn't know me from Adam. But my kids can talk, and so I make sure, listen, let them know we don't keep secrets. If anything that's going on, please let me know so I can put a stop to it. And so this past year, and I'm just telling you guys this, I had no idea this was going on. There was a situation where I had found out because since my dad was doing the drop offs and pickups, I didn't really know where Vern was living. I assumed that he was living at his family home. That's what I thought. And then my dad was like, because I told Vern that I did not want my kids sleeping at his girlfriend's house, which I am entitled to. I mean, he doesn't have to listen to me, but I don't want my kids because you don't have no bed for them. So where are they sleeping, on the floor in the same bed with you and her? That's inappropriate. You need to be in an environment where they have their own bed. Like in my house, they have their own bed. So when they go to you, you need to make sure that they had their own bed. Also with visitation, whenever he would mess up all of their clothes, I had to provide everything. He never had anything. He want to take them swimming. Oh, can you make sure that they have bathing suits? No. If you want to take them swimming, you have to provide all of that. Same thing with clothes. My daughter ran out of clothes, I guess, because he didn't feel like washing them. So, oh, well, Violet doesn't have a pair of pants. Well, go to Walmart. Oh, why should I go to Walmart? I don't have a car. That's not my problem. The kids are with you. Just like when the kids are with me, I don't ask you for anything extra. If I need something and I don't have the money for it, I get a part time job. That's what I do. I get a part time job. I asked this man last year for $100 for school clothes. I'm still waiting on it. So, that being said, when the kids are with you, you need to provide for them. He does not. And then when he returns the children, he returns them with a suitcase full of dirty clothes. So, every aspect of, I'm always doing extra work and working harder than him, which is not fair. And so my dad told me that he was living in a hotel. And I was just like, why are you living in a hotel? You've been divorced how long? You don't pay alimony, you barely pay child support. The child support that he finally started paying, that the government had to garnish out of his wages, is $159 a week. For two kids, that's $692 a month he pays for two children. I don't know what that pays for and what that covers, but it barely covers anything. That's what he's garnished to pay as of today. And so I found out that he was living in a hotel, and I'm just like, you're free. You can work as many hours as you work. You don't have to worry about childcare. You barely see your kids. Why don't you have an apartment? Why don't you have an apartment? He don't have an excuse. he don't have an excuse. And then I found out that just a few months ago that he was living in this hotel room with his girlfriend. And so they're both down bad. Like, how the hell are both of y'all living in a hotel room together? And so I put a stop to the overnight visits because it's like, come on, like you don't have a permanent residence and you got my kids in this hotel room. I don't even know if it has double beds. I don't know anything. And for the longest time, he would not tell me where he lived, which is ridiculous because I literally physically brought him to my apartment a few times. And he had been like playing games. He never told me that he was in a relationship with this lady. And it wasn't until she did some Facebook post about her knowing him since the early 2000s and then reconnecting with him last year. And this was during the time where he was going back and forth with me, talking all whenever he would get down and out. He would be like, "Oh, we should get back together, blah, 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 blah." And I would never take that man back. Never on God's green earth would I take that man back. And then he would be like, "Well, if we get back together, you gonna take me off of child support?" And I said, "See, that's the game that you play. No, I will never take you off of child support. You're gonna pay it until 2032 and 2036. Thank you kindly. No, not taking you off of shit. Go about your business, leave me alone." And so when I found out, when I seen this lady, she had posted all this stuff about her reconnecting with him and all this other stuff like that. I was like, okay, well, whatever. I got my own shit going on, so I really don't care. Like, tag you're it, bitch. That's what I always say. I tell all of them that kind of try to flex on me. I'm just like, no, it's just your turn. And none of his relationships last. And so fast forward to this year, um, we were like arguing about, of course, him helping out more. And it's like every time I call Vern, it's just like it's just an ongoing issue. Every single time I call him, that's why I don't really call him anymore. Whoever he's around, like he's super nice when I talk to him. Like when he calls me from his job, when he's at work and he calls me from his work, he's super nice and he talks nice. Whenever he calls me and he's like, "Let me talk to my kids," I'm like, "Okay, yeah, you're in front of that lady because you're trying to show off." And I'm just like, when you call my phone, you say good afternoon, good morning, hello, like you have some fucking home training. Don't get on the phone talking about, "Let me talk to my kids." That's not okay. When you don't even speak to them on a daily basis, this man doesn't do anything, doesn't go to the school for teacher conference. He doesn't even know where their school is. He doesn't know the name of their school. He doesn't know their name of their teacher. He doesn't know the pediatrician's name. He doesn't know anything about nothing. All he knows is that he want to take him to the park and to 7-Eleven when he do his visitation and then ship him back. That's it. And then he was calling my dad for my dad to pick the kids up early because he didn't want to have them that much, or he had plans or whatever. So he never really adhered to the full visitation like he was supposed to. And so, which is very, very infuriating when you get and you sit with these women and you lie and tell them that I won't let you see your kids, but you choose not to do what you're supposed to do. And so we were arguing, and I was just like, "You need to stop talking to me around that lady," because I didn't say lady, you know what I said. And because I think it's very disrespectful. And then she'll go out of her way to like making comments in the background. And like she's so pressed. I remember I called him one time and his phone went straight to voicemail, and a lady's voice came up on the voicemail like, "Hi, this is Vern." And it was a female voice. And I was just like, at first I thought I called the wrong number. When I called back, it was the same thing. She's doing his greeting on his voicemail, like to let everybody know that he has a woman. And it's just like, ma'am, none of that is gonna keep his ass from cheating on you. So you might as well let it go. All the voice notes, all of the making yourself be seen, it don't stop nothing. If a man does not want to be kept, you cannot keep him. So I thought that that was funny, and I told him about it. He was like, "Oh yeah, I got to change that." And I was like, "How ridiculous is that? That this lady's so insecure that she has to do your voicemail greeting to let somebody know that she, like, girl, get a life." Nobody cares. Nobody wants the trash. I gave it away. I gave him to the world because that's where he wanted to be, in the community. So then he was like, "Stop! That's my wife. Don't talk about my wife." I said, "Okay, well, I don't really give a shit if that's your wife or not. You don't con somebody into marrying you." And so fast forward till now, he just recently got married, like, damn, like a month ago. I think it's been a month because that's the last time I spoke to him. Uh, when he said he was getting married, and I had no idea, not that I cared or anything like that, but so he said that he was marrying this lady and the kids knew about it or whatever, and they don't really talk to me about it because I don't really care, and they know, whatever happens over there, that's their business. And so, and then of course he got into an argument with my mother because my mother tagged along when my dad was picking them up from visitation, and he picked them up from this house. And apparently he just moved in with his girlfriend's father, because when my dad gave me the address, you know what I did? I looked up the house. I looked it up to see who owned the house, and it was this guy that owned the house. So I assumed that she, and then my dad said that the old man lives there, and I said, okay, well, so I just put all of these pieces together. So he's currently living with his girlfriend's dad. And I guess his girlfriend's dad was like, "You can't just live here and, living in my house and you still got her as a girlfriend." So he was kind of, I guess he was kind of compelled to marry. And so they got married. That's what he told me. He said that they got married so that he could live there. He could live in that house with the father, with his girlfriend's dad, because for whatever reason neither one of them could get a place of their own. Like, it's so strange. And so when my parents arrived at to pick up the kids from this house that they're living in, the young lady, she's an older lady. She's like at least in her 50s right now. And she was just like trying to introduce herself because she wants everybody to know who she is. And so my mom was like, "No offense, but who are you?" And she was like, "I'm his fiance. We're getting married next week." And it was like, "What? You're getting married next week?" And so Vern went into this rage about how he didn't want anybody in his business, and all they want to do is get in his business. He cursed my mother out. That's what she told me. I don't know. I was not there. And the girlfriend or the fiance was trying to calm them down. She pulled my mother outside and told my mother that they were high school sweethearts and that Vern has two children with this lady. You heard me right, hun. You heard me correctly, loud and clear, right? Vern has two sons with this lady. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, what? Now, if that, and I was married to Vern for 10 freaking, yes, ma'am, you heard me right. Vern has two children. He has a 17-year-old and a 20-year-old son, two boys. This is the shit that I'm talking about. Living with this man, go through all of my videos. I never knew he had damn kids. I never knew he had kids. I never knew. I never knew. Vern has two sons, a 17-year-old and a 20-year-old, Tiffany, two that I had no knowledge of. No knowledge of. I was just like, and say, what now? How in the hell do you have children out in the world that you abandon and you literally just move on. You break up with the lady, move on with your life, get married, have two daughters. I never heard anything about these people. His mother never told me. And this is the shit that I cannot stand about a lot of moms, where you, family members, and that's why none of his family could say boo boo to me, because the fact that this man has two kids, and I'm literally, we're talking about 10 years of Christmases, 10 years of Easter, 10 years of holidays, sitting at the house with them. They playing cards every Thanksgiving. And this man has a whole family that he literally abandoned. And that shows a lot about this lady's self esteem. Ain't no way in hell a man could. That's what I'm saying. They be knowing everything, literally knowing everything at the baby shower. I had two baby showers, and his family was at the baby shower, and nobody, I went to Orlando for his cousin's graduation. Nobody ever told me that Vern had two sons out there in the world. This lady raising these kids by herself. She raising these kids by herself. Give me a second. I'm on my way to come get them. All right, no problem. I'll be on my way soon. All right, bye. Yeah, that was my dad. Right. And so this is the shit that I'm talking about, you know? And so I'm like in shock when my mother tells me that, oh, she reconnected with him on Facebook. That's why he never wanted a Facebook page. And it's like everything that I started putting things together. He never wanted to be on social media. He would always talk trash about, oh, how social media was trash and it was this and it was that. Why do people be on Facebook all the time? Yeah, you didn't want to be on Facebook because you knew that your secret would come up, because she found his ass on Facebook. That's how she reconnected with him, because she found him on Facebook, you know? And when he put a page out on Facebook, all of a sudden she reconnected with him and all of the stuff like that. I'm just sitting like in disbelief. And I wasn't angry. I wasn't angry. I had like a very like a crazy sign of relief, like, damn, you dodged a freaking bullet. Now you're vindicated in divorcing him. Because yes, throw them all in the garbage, because his mother really made me feel like I was this horrible person because I didn't want to go to counseling. Oh, you divorced my baby and all this shit. And when I took Vern's phone, when this person, Vern has never raised his voice at me, never. I snatched his phone out his hand and he tried to break my hand. He jumped on top of me and tried to break. And when I got a hold of his phone, I locked myself in the bathroom and I forwarded all of them nasty, dirty text messages that he was saying to, I forwarded all of them to his mother. And his mother was like, I don't want to be involved. I don't want to be involved. Him telling this lady, asking her how long can they be together before he could put a baby in her. Does she know how to do fellatio? Ma'am, the nastiest shit that I have ever read in my life. I told y'all, Vern was going to work, getting up at 3 a.m. in the morning to go to work, and he didn't have to be at work until 7:30. And he was getting up every morning talking about, oh, he got to gas up the trucks and doing this. No, all of these text messages and all of these interactions was happening, while he was at work, 5 a.m. in the morning, on the chat line talking to these ladies. Because when I went to his email, because he wanted to work at Amazon too, and of course he don't know how to fill out an I-9, he don't know how to do shit by himself. And I said, is there anything in your email that you don't want me to see? Oh no, there's nothing there. Soon as I logged on to his Gmail account, I saw the chat. It was the instant message chat where he was talking to some chick about if she know how to do fellatio, if he could have a baby with her, all kind of nasty shit. And I was just like, Vern, what is this? And you know what his response was? Well, I guess you caught me. That's what he said. Well, I guess you caught me. And so I had to divorce him. And it's not the first time. When I was pregnant, and see this, a lot of married women, there's a lot of things that was going on in my marriage that I was not discussing because I was trying to make it work. This was not the first time I caught Vern doing funny business on the internet. When I was pregnant with Valerian, he had made a fake Facebook account under a fake name, no picture, and everybody on his friend list was a woman, and he couldn't explain to me because he's not computer literate. And so I had a desktop, so whenever he would be on the desktop, he would never power off the computer. He would just let the computer sleep and then just go, and he didn't log off. He doesn't know, I guess he didn't know how to log off of shit. And so when I hit the mouse, the computer turns on and I see this Facebook page with all these females, and I'm just like, Vern, what the hell is this? And he's like, "Oh, I just look at Facebook to watch the news." And I was just like, Tiffany, don't fight. And so he was like, "Oh, I just be watching." I said, "You were full of shit. You ain't read a whole book in your whole life. Like talking about reading the damn news." And so, yeah, I was freaked out about it because I'm pregnant, sick as hell, and I'm just like, he's doing all of this stuff, and he promised that he would stop. He deleted the account, and that was it. So he had been doing stuff since 2017 because I was pregnant from 2017, and he just, when you forgive men for indiscretions, all they do is sneak more. And so what he was doing was that Vern was pretending that he was working so much. "Oh, Shantika, do you mind if I work overtime?" And then whenever he would get his check, I wasn't working at the time because I had two small kids, and y'all know one of my youngest child had a serious medical condition. You know, child, you gonna have to listen to the replay, honey. So I had to drop a little bombshell, honey, Miss Fret, honey. You got to listen to the replay when I post it. But I had two kids, and so I couldn't really run behind him. And so if he said that he had to work, I believed him. Come to find out, but Vern was using his job as an alibi to go visit other women. He would be so-called working Saturday and Sunday, which were his off days, but he was hanging out with the girl, with the lady, because she's an older lady. And so, because the woman told me, she described he was taking the work truck, because he ain't got his car. He don't have no car. And so he was taking the company vehicle to visit this lady. And anytime I would say, "Well, why is your paycheck short?" "Oh, they're gonna put the money on the next check, the next check, the next check." Child, that next check ain't never come. And so, yeah, so this shit has been going on for years, and he's been hiding. And let me tell you something about people who keep secrets. People who keep secrets, and that's why I said I would never trust a man. And when I started seeing him, and then he would hide women's numbers under a man name, because there was this one particular dude that he was always in. Tell him, honey, tell a story. And so it was this one guy, the man, it was a man's name, but he would literally be on the phone with this so-called dude all the damn time. Like, he would come home from work, he was on the phone on his way from work. He would walk into the house talking to this person. He was constantly texting this person. That's how he got caught. Because I was just like, who are you on the phone with? He never put his phone down. It's the same person that literally used to use his phone. He would leave his phone around. He would leave his phone home. He would forget his phone, and his phone would ring all day long. Till now, when he take a shower, his phone got to be in the shower with him. His phone, every time he used the bathroom, his phone, he can never be without that damn cell phone. And so I was asking him, like, who are you on the phone with? Who are you on the phone with? And I remember I snatched the phone from him, and it was like heart emojis. And I was just like, what the hell is this? What is this? And it turns out that he was talking to a woman, but he was hiding her name under a man's name so that I wouldn't know. But then he was being so reckless with it. He was just, and it was so crazy because he would allow the kids to play games on his cell phone. And my child was literally on his lap. Valerian was on his lap, and he was just like asking for pictures. That's why I say even in dating, don't send men pictures of yourself. Don't do it. Don't send men pictures. I don't do that. It's enough on my profile. Look at them, and you can meet me and stare me in the damn face, but don't send men pictures. And so yeah, he was like doing all this stuff in my house. I did not even know, because I didn't know. I'm not a searcher. I'm not a person that goes through phones or anything like that. I just didn't even think to look, you know and he would swear he wasn't doing anything. And every time I come into the living room, he would take his phone and turn it over. And I'm like, oh, so because I would get on him about playing video games, because he would sit and play video games on his phone, and the garbage need to be taken out. Valerian diaper dragging the floor. You're not gonna change it. Things need to be done, and he wouldn't get it done because he was always obsessed with his damn phone. And so he would always leave his phone around and like fall asleep. Like he's a heavy, heavy, heavy sleeper. He would pass out on the couch. And how I caught him was that I said, let me just plug up his phone so he'll have it in the morning and it'll be fully charged. And whenever you stick the charger in the phone, it illuminates, it turns on, because I had made him take the password off his phone because he had a password. It wasn't a number, it was a shape. Like you had to do like a funny shape or whatever. And I said, if you're not doing anything, take that password off your phone. And so when he took the password off his phone, he was still doing what he was doing, but he knew that I wasn't going through his phone. He knew for a fact that I wasn't doing it. So when I plugged in his phone and his phone illuminated, he never logged off or exited out of the text messages. So I saw heart emojis. I saw I love you back. And so I woke him up and I was just like, and I turned the phone. I was just like, who do you love? I said, you love somebody? And he was like shocked. I said, well, who do you love? And I said, well, let's call her. And at first I was gonna call on my phone, but I was like, no, she may not answer because people might not answer numbers that they don't know. So I called the lady from his phone, and she talked to me, and she was very, very respectful and nice. I said, well, this is Vern. She was like, hey baby. I said, no, this is not your baby, this is Vern's wife. She was just like, what? She's like, oh, she tried to say she didn't know, but she knew everything about me. I was scared to death. She knew everything about me. She knew I had kids. He done showed this lady the pictures of my freaking kids, all kind of stuff. And then the kicker is, I found out about the dating sites because I was going through his phone, and something just told me to hit Google, your Google. And I hit the Google history, and plenty of fish came up. And since stupid went and he saved his username and password to his device, I was able to log right in. That fool had a freaking profile on 4 dating sites because I went through his whole Google history, and he was using his cousin's name, Corey. He was using his cousin's name, Corey, as one of his profile names, because his brain don't go that far, so he gotta use somebody that he know. And yeah, I logged right in. He had a profile on everything, looking for a friend, looking for this and that and all kind of shit. Man, I was just like, this cannot be. Like, you want to be single, you don't have. And we've had discussions about cheating a lot because I watch a lot of reality TV, and we had conversations about this type of shit. And he would always say, before I cheat on you, I leave. Before I hit you, I leave. I would never disrespect my family like that. Well, shit, I guess that was just talking because he just didn't care. And then the stuff, the porn that he was watching, barely legal, barely 18. It had to be teen girls, like teenage this, teenage that. And I was just like, yeah, you need to get out. And I'm not leaving my house. I said, you can either leave voluntarily or involuntarily. And I was just running in the room, taking that, just arm full of his clothes and throwing it at him. He had to, and I just like, get out, get out. It was in the middle of the night too. It was like 9 o'clock at night. 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. I was like, call your brother, call your mama, but you getting the hell out of my house tonight. You got to go. You got to go. You go be with whoever you want to be there. And I was on the phone with the lady, and I was like, you can come get him because he don't have a car, and I know you know that he don't have a car. And she was like, well, I don't want him either. And she said, if you don't want him, I don't want him either. Because a lot of women, they love the drama of folk fighting over folk. And I was like, no, ma'am, he's all yours. This is completely unnecessary. And I remember when I had been catching him like talking on the phone and stuff like that, I was just like, well, what else are you gonna do to me? I was like, what else are you going to do to me? Like, this is spousal abuse. When I ask you to change your phone number, and even when we were going back and forth at that time, even when I kicked him out, we were going back and forth about whether to reconcile or not. And you know what this man told me when I asked him to change his number? He was just like, I can't control who calls my phone. I'm not changing my number. And I said, well, if you're not changing your number, then we're just going to go on ahead and get a divorce, because I'm not doing that. I'm not going to get, and the shit that you talking, you are soliciting unprotected sex, like. And I just lost a baby, and I was pregnant at the time, like brand new. That video is on my freaking page, where we announced that we were expecting, like a couple weeks after that Viola's birthday happened. And it was just, oh my god, like this shit happened so fast. It happened so fast. And we were just going back and forth, and he wanted to go to counseling, but he didn't want to change his number. And so he was lying to his mother, making it seem like I didn't want to work it out, and his behavior wasn't changing. So what are we going to counseling for? That's like an alcoholic going to AA, but you're going to stop to the bar on the way home. That makes no sense. You cannot change what you will not acknowledge. You cannot change what you refuse to fix. And so all this time he was hiding this huge secret, and that's why he cursed my mother out. And he was just like, and so when they were at, we're going back to present day, this is June of 2024, when my parents dropped off the kids, and my mother's having this one-on-one conversation with this thirsty box, who's so freaking pressed about somebody knowing who she is. She want to say the whole, I mean, she told my mother everything, because that's one thing about these fucking ladies. Like, they feel like they're one upping you, and you're not one upping nobody, because he's gonna cheat on you too. Like, ma'am, like, he left you with 2 kids, started a new family with somebody else. Where is the prize in that? Where is the prize in that? There's no prize in that. So you doing all of that is just ridiculous. I mean, I don't even know. Like, that is just so crazy to me. And I think that's the reason why her dad was like, you can't live in my house and not be married to her, which is so freaking weird, because if I was her father, you abandon my daughter with 2 sons. And then you raggedy, can't get a place of your own, don't have a car, and you laid up in my house with my child. Oh, you got to get the hell up out of here. Not, oh, you can go ahead and marry her and y'all can stay here. What in the hell kind of dysfunctional, low self-esteem in the toilet type of shit is that? How she's still in love with him. They were high school sweethearts. She's telling my mother all of this shit. This man did not even mention her. What he told me was that he had a long term relationship with some woman who already had children. And even his mother repeated the same freaking story to me when we were newly married. It was just like, she didn't like this woman because she felt like, because she was an older woman, and she felt like the woman took his youth. Very much so, very much so. And so she felt like this woman took his youth because like every time she would come around, she would have kids, and he was just, helping her with her kids. She never once said that these kids belong to him. And that's why I have not spoken to his mother since I forwarded all of those cheating messages to her. So it ain't so I know how women are with their sons or whatever, and some women, good, bad, or indifferent, they gonna stick beside their son no matter what. So she got the proof that he was on the phone talking to every nasty, dirty text message. I sent it to his damn mama. you know I had to do something, like, and then her response to those text messages was, don't give Shantika any money if she doesn't let you see those kids. And I was just like, really, Angela? Really? My child is named after you. Like, really, bitch? That's what you're doing? So yeah. And so she telling my mom that they're getting married and that they have two sons and blah blah blah. And she really loves my kids. Oh, and this heifer wanted to sit my children down and reveal to them that they have brothers, And my mother was like, that is not your place. That is their father's place to do that. You know, and when they were together, Vern was like, this is why I don't want these people in my business, and that's why I don't come get the kids. It's like, oh, but you said that Shantika won't let you see the kids. So now we're hearing that the reason why you don't visit is because you don't want us in your business. And so it was a crazy, crazy, like, I didn't know how to feel. I was shocked. I was really shocked because that is you hear about this shit on Lifetime movie network. On This is a Tyler. I need to call Tyler Perry so he can make a damn movie about my life. Like, damn, that Divorce in the Black. Come look at the Shantika Experience divorce nightmare. you know and this is why, because a lot of times I will go back and forth because my kids have been having a lot of difficulties. My oldest had a nervous breakdown. My kids are in therapy. They have been in therapy for 7 months now, because it's a lot of paperwork, and it's a long process to get therapy. They were getting in trouble in school. I tried to call him. He wouldn't come to the school, talk to the principal. He won't come to the school to talk. Like, he won't do anything to help me with these kids. And once he got with this woman, it was just like, literally, F those kids. Literally. Like, the only time he calls me is when he wants to do visitation. He sees them for a few hours, I'll say less than 5 hours, and then he's just like, come get them. Just so that he could play, up in her face like he's like this great dad. And obviously he's not, because he abandoned you with your kids and you felt like that was marriage material. And I guess, I don't know why she married him. Like, I don't know. He doesn't have anything. And then she's a nurse. She has like the worst profession ever, because nurses, they work a lot. So he is literally in his glory because she hitting them 12-hour shifts back to back to back while he's sitting at the house riding her car. I don't think she lets him drive her car anymore, because I told her that, I didn't tell her, but we had went out of town because Vern had been, this year, spring break was coming up. He promised the kids that he was going to take them to Disney World. Of course, he didn't get the tax return that he thought he was going to get because he did fraud. His auntie, who is now deceased, had prepared his taxes, and he was on the phone bragging to me, talking about, oh yeah, I got $8,000 back in taxes. I said, how the hell you get that much back? Number one, when you're in arrears for child support. Number two, you don't have any dependents, because I'm the custodial parent. You don't have. So how did you get 8 grand back? Well, I guess the government flagged it and they snatched his taxes, and he ain't got a tax return since. And so, and they haven't given it to me. So it was that money is fraud. And so whatever money he thought he was going to get, he didn't get it. So he never took the kids to Disney World. So I had to book something quick, fast, and in a hurry. And so I took the kids to the fun spot in Orlando. There is a small theme park called the Fun Spot. Wonderful place. I love it. The kids, it's literally a fraction of the cost. It's $150 for 3 people to attend. It was $150 for me and my kids to go to the fun spot. And they get to ride as much as they want to ride. It's a really, really fun place. So I had to book a trip real quick because I didn't want to disappoint them. And as usual, mommy always coming through when he disappoints them. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? You could change partners, but if you don't change who you are on the inside, you don't change who you are on the inside, there is nothing a second marriage, a third marriage, there is nothing a new relationship is going to do but just fester some more issues, you know? And so she going to find out soon enough, but she strikes me as the type of chick that will stay married and be miserable because she thinks it spites me. It does not spite me, ma'am. I do not care. Like, I do not care. Like, you really, like, you, ma'am, you ain't spiting me, honey. I promise you on everything I love, you're not spiting me because this man is out here dragging his genitals all over the damn country. And when your pH balance goes off, when you start getting infections in your vagina and you don't know why, and he blaming you, you blaming him, let me tell you, y'all don't know what the AIDS and the STD rate is in South Florida. You heard about Houston. If y'all on TikTok, y'all know that Houston's STD rates are going through the roof because nowadays a lot of men are bisexual and they don't want to be true to themselves. I mean, you ain't got to tell nobody your sexual orientation. I've never been the kind of person who felt like that this coming out of the closet. You don't have to come out the closet, but what you do have to do is that to be honest with yourself. If you're gonna sleep with me, you need to make sure you let your sexual partners know that I'm sleeping around. You know what I'm saying? And people don't, you don't have to say who you sleeping with, but you need to let people know that you sleeping around so that they know, okay, well, make sure I wear protection with this person because I don't know what they got going on. Girl, yeah, she could have it, honey. Because once my kids turn 18, I will be changing my name back. The only reason why I've kept this last name is because my kids, and because I've amassed 10 years of this last name. So it's a lot to change. But once my kids are grown, I will change back to my maiden name. And it's child, that last name ain't worth is print on paper, honey, at all. And so, it's just crazy to me. So yeah, he was just going on and on and on. And that's why because first of all, Vern is that's not his personality. He's not a violent person. He's not a he doesn't yell and scream. He sits there. He's a docile person. And for him to literally curse my mother out, he was freaked out that this news had got out, and he begged my father, like, please do not tell me. But of course my mother is a busybody, and she can't hold no news, honey. And as soon as she could possibly tell me, she took, because even my dad was kind of like, felt like I was being hard on him, and like, because they like him. And I think the curse of the nice guy is it. I say the curse of the nice guy is when you have a spouse that is really nice, like he's the nice guy. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't do anything wrong. He's kind of low key or whatever. People want to forgive them. People want them to be forgiven. And since I'm very much a hothead and very much rah, 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 it makes it kind of overshadows my behavior, overshadows him because he's cool, calm, and collected. I'm the one that's snapping and going off. So it's like, well, maybe she ran him to it. You know what I'm saying? And so, no, there's nothing that you could be the most perfect wife. If a man wants to cheat, he gonna cheat. That's just what it is. And he had more than cheating going on in his damn past, child. So, I dodged a bullet with that. And so he didn't want me to know. He don't want nobody in his business, blah, 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 blah. And then I wasn't going to say anything. I was going to hold on to the information. But I'm not going to lie. And I will be completely transparent. Like, I had this like build up of pain that I just could not believe it. I was relieved, but that shit hurt me. That hurt me. That hurt me. It did not just hurt me for me, it hurt me for her because how horrible is that? You break up from a person that you have children with, and you literally abandon them, and then start a completely new life with somebody else and have children with them and live this whole entire separate life, and you don't mention them? How horrible! You are a horrible person to live day in and day out for 10 years and never mention once. His family had this huge birthday party for his mother's sister had a huge birthday party. This lady wasn't there. His kids wasn't there. His mother didn't even mention them children. His family abandoned the kids too. And that's who you think is the prize? Hey, that ain't my business. That's between you and whatever God that you serve. But so a couple weeks after that, he called me, and the first thing that came out of my mouth was, "You cuss my mama out?" No, no, I didn't curse your mom. I said, you, I heard you curse my mama out. For what? What business do you have that I, in this state, is so pressed to know about? What business do you have that I care about where you feel like everybody's in your business? What business? And I heard you got kids. You got kids? No, then those not my kids. Still denying that the kids don't belong to him now. Still denying it. Hey, those are not my kids. Those my stepkids. I was just like, because I called him while he was at work. See, we didn't had this conversation in front of her when he's at work. So a lot of them she like to stalk me on social media. So he didn't even admit that those kids belong to him. Still won't admit them kids belong to him. Those are not my kids. Those are her kids. I just helped her raise them. I said, but how you been married this long and you don't even mention them? You got kids. It was so crazy to me. And when I tell you, I cussed him from the beginning to the end. Like, you are going to hell. You're going to hell. You're going to hell. No matter what you do in your life, there is nothing that you could do to fix this. Like, and I told him, what you will know as you go through the rest of your life, if you don't know nothing else, there is one person on this earth that hates your fucking guts, and that is me. I want you to go through your entire life. The day that you close your eyes, you will know that I hate your fucking guts, and I will hate you until forever and ever. Amen. I will freaking hate you because that is horrible. Like, I and I got so emotional. I talked to my dad and I was just like, I feel like I have to cry. Like, you could feel it like coming. Like, I feel like I have to cry because I feel like my entire marriage was a lie. Yeah. I feel like, I feel like my marriage was a whole lie. Like, the whole thing was a lie. The kids be wanting to watch like old vlogs that I do, and it's just so hard for me to play it because I could literally, like, even that year that everything took place, like all of this took place in the later part of, like, in July, August, like that's when that happened. We went on our last vacation, went to Disney World that year, when our last family, and every time I see those pictures, and I'm just like, damn, who knew? When you see the smiles of us smiling in those pictures, who knew in the next 4 or 5 months we would be divorcing because of this? And then 2 years later to find out he married his baby mama. He married his baby mama that I didn't even know existed. And he has a 17-year-old and a 20-year-old children, excuse me, plural. Like, I can't. And you want me to look at you as a man, and you still mooching off this lady living in her daddy house? You still don't have a car, still don't have, no. And I made it very clear, my kids are not spending the night at that house. Violet is going to be 10 on July 27th. Okay. She's gonna be 10 years old. Can y'all believe that? I have a baby that's in the double digits. And Miss Ma'am is in full. I mean, she was already in full puberty, but she's in full puberty. Like she has gotten everything. She got her cycle at 9.5. She's wearing bras. She is like a completely different person. Like in the course of from the time she started the fourth grade, she went from looking one way and like boobs, period, hips. She is 5 foot tall. She's gonna be super tall. She's going to be 10, and she got all this going on. You know what I'm saying? Valerian is 6.5. You know, and she's a wild beast. She spent her entire kindergarten year on the damn floor. She's the fallout queen. I stayed in the principal's office behind that girl. You know, I'm struggling with my kids. You know what I mean? They got in trouble the last week of school. Why am I in the principal's office the last week of school behind some nonsense? You know, but and he doesn't help me. But they're thriving, they're doing great. You know, they are so big now. You people would be so shocked. Like, who are these young people? You know, Valerian still looks like a baby, you know, but she's older now. You know, she's not baby, she's older now. You know, and Viola's, she looks like a whole teenager, you know, and she'll be 10, 10, 10, 10. I cannot believe it. And so this man ain't visited these kids since he got his new housing situation. He talked to them a couple days ago. A few days ago, he spoke to them, and he asked them when when y'all coming to see me. Yeah, when can y'all see? And I was just like, and I told her to say, when you pick me up. Like, what the hell? When y'all coming to see me? No, when you visiting them. They're the children. They supposed to be coming to see you. You supposed to be seeing them. I said, tell him that he can pick y'all up this weekend. They say we can you can pick us up this weekend. You know what he says? Oh, I can't do it this weekend. So why the hell did you ask them if you couldn't pick them up this weekend? Why did you ask? Why did you ask them if you couldn't pick them up this weekend? That makes no fucking sense. So I just said, you know what? Don't even worry about it. Then he's just like, oh well, what do you want to do for your birthday? And it's just like, didn't you tell this girl that you had a party? It's just ridiculous. And I was just like, and he don't have no party. And Viola's a little kid. Like even though she looks like a young teenager, mentally she's straight up, she's 9. And he was like, well, where do you want to go for your birthday? And Violet's like, I want to go to Chili's, you know, because that's they like Chili's, you know. And it was just like, really, Chili's? She's going to be 10. You mean to tell me you don't have no big blowout celebration for her turning 10? And so I was just like, nah, let's scratch that. I will plan something and I will make sure that she has a great birthday. And so, yeah, we're done with that. And so it is what it is. And I cried about it. I ain't gonna lie, because I was just like, this is so like like this person is like, I don't know who this is. Literally, when you hear people say I'm sleeping with a stranger, I was married to a complete stranger. Married to a complete stranger. And my whole philosophy on relationships. Y'all, please follow me on TikTok. You know, I have a huge following on TikTok, which is so weird. You know, TikTok is just like a luck of the draw. You know, you get into one little spat with somebody, and your subscriber count gets like crazy. And so that's crazy. You know, so y'all please follow me on TikTok. I post super often on there. And so I really wanted to do this live because I let my kids go to church with my parents today, and getting ready to. I have to go pick them up right now. But I just wanted to come on here since I haven't seen or talked to y'all in over a year. I ended my. I was hired as a surplus employee, unbeknownst to me. I did not know that I was surplus, and so my teaching contract for kindergarten it ended this school year in June, and so I was offered a second grade position at another school. And so I decided to take that. So we'll see what happens with that process. And if that falls through, I will be back substituting until I find a school that I like. because I refused to go back to the school that I was previously at because I felt like, why wouldn't you tell somebody that there was surplus? Because if I know that my contract is ending in June, I would not have quit my second job. I was working at Whole Foods, and it was a cool job. Like, I really, really liked it there. I love working at Whole Foods, you know, because I worked 6 hours, sometimes 4 to 6 hours. It was real cute. And if I wanted more hours, I could pick up shifts because Whole Foods is owned by Amazon. And so, as a part time employee, you have the option to customize your own schedule. And I was working at night, I was working at weekends, and it was a cool little calm atmosphere. All that Walmart behavior, they do not play that at Whole Foods, honey. And so, I liked it. I wouldn't have quit my part time job had I would have known that my teaching contract was ending in June. And so I applied to a bunch of charter schools, and if it doesn't fall through, because you know how stuff happens, things happen and then they don't. I will be back substituting until I find another school that I like, and then if they have a position available, I'll apply for it. So I'll be teaching second grade this year. If that offer doesn't fall through, we'll see what happens. And if not, I'll be just substituting. And then if I want to get a part-time job, it will definitely be a remote job. I do not want to, well, thank you. I don't want to, because I'm trying to transition and wean myself out of having my kids at my parents' house so much, because me and my mom keep getting into it, because she keep trying to whoop my kids, and I keep like, stop hitting my kids. I don't like it. Don't do it. And she's a boomer, and a lot of black older people, elderly people, feel like you don't have the right to tell them, you don't have the right to have boundaries. I'll just say it that way. And I treat disrespect with distance. Me and my mom have been going back and forth, and the only reason why I deal with her is because of my dad. You know what I'm saying? But so yeah, I'm trying to, you got to make money, because that child support ain't hitting on nothing. Number two, he ain't giving me no extra money because he got a whole nother household he taking care of, and of course, he trying to please her. So he ain't giving me anything extra. So if I need extra money, I get me a little part time job, but I'm looking for a part time, like, remote customer service job that I could just do in my house. I got a desktop and a laptop, yeah, so I could do a little customer service, at night or whatever, while the kids are sleeping, or a second shift or whatever, because you get out of school pretty early, like a 5 to 9 type situation. And I'm cool with that, or 6 to 10, real cute, real low key, and I can make a little extra cash that I could put up. But yeah, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, my rent is still pretty good, because when I got this apartment, it was 900. When I got this apartment in 2002, it was $900 a month for a one bedroom. I turned my living room into a bedroom. So if you want to see that, go on my TikTok page. And I did a house tour, an apartment tour on there. And so yeah, I turned my living room into a bedroom. So I live in a small apartment that's perfect for my kids and I. They have bunk beds, they have their dresser, their own TV, their own stuff, their own toys, their own belongings, and I have my room. And so, yes, my rent started off at 900. Currently, it is 1100. So I still pay considerably cheaper rent than everybody in Miami. Those places, see, the ones that have cheap rent, they don't advertise online. I had to walk and find this apartment, knocking on doors. Hey, do you have an opening? Hey, do you have a vacancy? Hey, do you have a vacancy? They don't advertise online, you know, and so you have to put in the legwork. And a lot of these places are privately owned, and so that's what it is. But yeah, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm on a weight loss journey, because I have been neglecting myself, because I was just working so much. So I have been walking. My goal is to lose 100 pounds in a year, and so I've already lost 20 pounds. I walk 30 minutes every single day. I do weightlifting 3 times a week. And I cut my eating down literally a half. Whatever I was eating before, I just eat half. And sometimes I can't even eat half anymore, because I've kind of trained myself to be satisfied, not full. So yeah, so look out for that. You'll definitely see me posting once I lose a significant amount of weight. Then I'll start doing, videos about it and everything because it's time for me to start. I've been taking care of everybody but me, you know, and so I am now that I'm in a good space career wise, because I felt like the teaching position is perfect for me because, of course, I have children. I have to do that because of the scheduling. The scheduling is so flexible and it's conducive to me being a mother because when the kids have all these teacher work days, I'm off when they're off. I get paid to be off. Holidays and stuff, I get paid to be off. I don't have to beg anybody to watch my kids, so that's why I'm a teacher. I love teaching. Teaching is cool. It's a lot of politics and a lot of foolishness, which I will talk about if y'all want to, hear a little bit about that. But you got to be kind of careful what you post, because you don't want, the wrong people to see your videos, and then you don't get job opportunities because you talk trash about stuff. So, you know how people are. They'll send your video to all kind of places and try to get you fired and all kind of shit. So, I'm real careful of what I say about my career, my employment, because it's haters everywhere. Hey haters, in the words of Nene, Nene leaks. Hey haters, you know, and so okay, that's cool. But I like subbing because you in and you out. You don't have to deal with a lot of the crazy politics of school. But y'all, I have got to get them out of here. I love you guys. I miss you all. I really just wanted to come on here and just give you guys the update and you want to have something to share because nobody wants to hear, your sad story and all this other stuff. They want to hear, and unfortunately my life is a movie, so it's always some cliffhanger, some crazy shocking shit that's happening that I definitely will. Tiffany, I miss y'all so much, but I just wanted y'all to know that I am doing well, and I will definitely come. Y'all please follow me on TikTok, the Shantika Experience. Follow me on TikTok. I The Shantika Experience. Let me put it in the comments. I have like 8,000 followers on TikTok. It's so over 8,000 followers on TikTok. Child, I be on there talking my trash. Oh Lord, let me type it in. I had to get it's the same username. It's the same username. I'm like laid down, my butt starting to fall asleep. So y'all follow me on TikTok, honey. Comment, send me instant messages. I always check. I have a nice little following on there. We talk our trash. I talk my trash, honey. And we have a good time on TikTok. So y'all follow me, and I would definitely, make more of these, but I'll do it like quarterly. Every 3 or 4 months I'll do like a live stream because your girl is working and I got these kids that I'm raising by myself, honey. And so I have to, I try to be present, you know I try to be present when the kids are around. So I want them to be raised right, but I'm struggling. I ain't gonna lie, parenting is very, very hard. When you have someone that refuses to participate but then tells the whole world that you won't let me see my kids, but then you sit on the phone and say, no, I can't get you this weekend. No, I can't get you that weekend. No, I'm busy. I got a party to go to. Like, he has called me and be like, oh, I have a banquet to go to. I got somewhere to go. Can you keep them? Like, I keep them anyway, you know, and then want to claim somebody on taxes that you don't get. And I told him, you keep it up now that you are married. Now that you are married, sir, you are married filing jointly. And so you keep trying me. As soon as y'all file next year, I will be making sure that I apply for an increase in child support. Do I want to do that? No. Do I have time for that shit? No. But I will. You have a higher income. So Y'all women out there that be marrying these baby daddies and marrying these men that have child support orders, you better make sure you sign a prenuptial agreement and you file your shit separately, because now that he has a dual income, you can get an increase on your child support. How about that? But I'm not gonna do it because I don't really care. I just get a part-time job. I try to limit my interactions with him. Yeah, he married his baby mama that I didn't know about. He's remarried. He married his baby mama. He married his baby mama. He has a 17-year-old and a 20-year-old. Yeah, catch that dirt. Catch that tea. Yes, ma'am. He got kids. And I just found this out in 2024. I found this out in June, that he was marrying some lady that claims that they were high school sweethearts, and he got two sons from this lady. Yes, I'm about to go. Um, I'm about to go because I have to pick up my kids. My dad called me almost an hour ago. But yes, honey, yes. So replay the live and watch it, and you'll hear the story about that freaking nonsense. But yeah, child, these men. That's why I said I don't mind having a partner, a like a man friend. Vern's birthday is June 22nd. I don't know what zodiac sign is that. His birthday is June 22nd. I don't know what zodiac sign that is. All I know is I'm a Capricorn. I don't even know my kids' zodiac signs. All I know is I'm a Capricorn. Valerian's a Capricorn. Viola was born in July, but he's June 22nd. That's his birthday, June 22nd. I don't know what his sign is. Um, but yeah, like, girl, I would never marry another man again. I don't believe in marriage. I believe in marriage, but I just don't believe that men can be faithful. I just and I cannot compete with the internet. I cannot compete with social media. I cannot. I don't know. I don't know his zodiac sign. You just look up June 22nd, and I guess whatever it say it is. Oh, he's a Cancer, or I don't know. I don't know zodiac signs. I just know mine. I'm a Capricorn, so I tolerate next to nothing at this point. Like, I don't tolerate nothing in the dating space. The first sign of disrespect, you getting blocked. Goodbye. I'm dating this Cuban man. I live in Miami. I'm dating a Cuban man. He's cool. He's cool. He's cool. And he likes me more than I like him. So that's how it works. Men have to like you more than you like them, you know? And because I have girls, I can't, and I don't want to live in a space. I don't want to share my space with a man. I love living by myself. I love having my own space, my own place. And I'm about to buy a house next year. I'm going through that process. And once I complete that process, I will definitely let you guys know, because you can't say stuff because you don't want to jinx it, or you don't want to, the sabotage is out there to sabotage. So yes, I will be buying a house next year. And so, that's right, honey. We are open. Whites, I don't care. Whites, Hispanics, I don't care. He did marry for a place to stay. Both of them were Didi. Both of them were living in a hotel room. They don't even have that house is not even theirs. It's her father's house. He's living with his father-in-law. That's his house, and he had to marry her in order to stay there. They both down bad, so they kind of deserve each other. So I gotta go, y'all. I will holler at y'all in the fall. Bye. A mess, ain't it? Ain't it a mess? A hot mess.